Thank you for inviting me to speak at this event. It is fantastic to see so much international collaboration to help address this problem. What I'd like to talk about today is why tackle food waste, show you some data in relation to the scale of the problem in the UK, building on what Tristram presented earlier on, and also say a little bit about the strategic approach that we've taken to avoid food waste on the part of the consumer, as well as working with business to help reduce food waste, and then draw some conclusions. So the scale of the problem. This pie chart, which totals some 15 million tonnes, represents the amount of waste food in the UK. And you can see that the largest contributor in the blue colour is household food waste, some 7.2 million tonnes. This, in fact, is our latest data, 2010 data. In 2006-07, when we first started work in this area, the amount of household food waste was, in fact, 8.3 million tonnes. So you can see the actions that have been taken through our Love Food, Hate Waste campaign and working with our partners has significantly impacted already the amount of food waste in the home. In the yellow colour, you can see the waste associated with food manufacturing, and the white is relatively small, as Tristram pointed out earlier on, the waste within the retail and distribution sector. The so-called profit sector of the hospitality industry. The profit sector is where the provision of food and drink is a substantive element of the business operation. So this would be restaurants, bars, hotels. We have assessed at least 700,000 tonnes. And then we have this category which we've labelled other, which includes the cost sector of the hospitality sector. And this is typically contract catering in hospitals, schools, government offices, prisons, etc., which we are assessing at the moment, as well as losses which occur on farm. And the impact of that waste, in terms of its global warming potential, a substantial 20 million tonnes of CO2 equivalent per year from the home, and in the supply chain a further 10 million tonnes of CO2 per year. What that means in terms of the cost to UK citizens and businesses is £12 billion for householders and £5 billion for businesses. And we mustn't forget that wasting food in this way also wastes substantial quantities of water, often from parts of the world where there is water scarcity. And that food waste, which we've referred to here, contributes some 4,500 billion litres of water per year. So the strategic approach we've taken is to raise awareness of food waste based upon robust data, prioritising the food waste reductions in the home, as well as driving change in the supply chain, and latterly tackling hospitality and catering waste. First of all, consumer food waste prevention. Two approaches. One is to change the behaviour of consumers, change their habits, and the second is to make it easier for consumers to waste less. So raising awareness and engaging consumers to act through the campaign which I mentioned earlier, the Love Food, Hate Waste campaign, which in the early years of that, in 2006, 2007, 2008, we had a television advertising campaign which went directly to the consumer. Latterly, we've worked much more through partners. So working through local authorities, working through retailers to reach consumers in that way. And in terms of making it easier for consumers to waste less, again, that's working with our retail partners influencing those selling food to change or improve their products and practices to help consumers waste less. And I think there's probably three areas where where we have succeeded in working with businesses. First of all, encouraging retailers to allow consumers to buy the right amount. So this would involve things like ensuring we've got the right pack size and availability, ensuring that promotions don't have an effect which leads to greater food waste, keeping what is bought at its best. So again, this is packaging functionality, ensuring that packs are reclosable, for example, where appropriate, and having very clear storage guidance as well. And then finally, using what is bought. So helping consumers to do that through consistent, simple use of date labelling and providing maximum shelf life. Just a few examples of this. You can see the two loaves on the left-hand side, Kingsmill and Warburton's. Both went to full-sized slices of bread, but smaller loaves, allowing consumers to buy the right amount. Keeping what's bought at its best, you can see the image there with the plastic bags which consumers use to buy fruit and veg loose in store, and that contains not just the Love Food Hate Waste logo, but also detailed storage instructions for each fruit and vegetable. And finally, using what is bought. The jar of baked beans on the right-hand side allows a reclosable jar which allows storage in the fridge of up to 5 days. And date labelling is such an important issue. It's a great source of confusion for consumers, and simply removing a display until date and just presenting either a used by or best before date has been shown to have a significant impact on consumers' understanding of when that food should be consumed by. And the impact, as I mentioned, has been so far 1.1 million tonnes per year less food waste being collected, a reduction of some 13%. And if we look at the value of that avoided food waste, that's about £2.5 billion per year. And there is also evidence through the UK government's food waste audit that over that period there have been reduced food sales per capita as well. Some behaviours that have been changed are illustrated here. This is an annual survey which we undertake asking these same questions, and you can see that from March 2008 through to March 2011, each of these different behaviours have shown significant improvement. So understanding the best before date, checking what you have in the kitchen before you go shopping, making a shopping list and planning meals for the week. Consumers are all significantly increasing the tendency to do that. So what of our work with businesses? First of all, the court-hold commitment, which is a voluntary agreement between UK government, RAP and the food and drink sector. And you can see there are in total 52 signatories to this commitment, many of whom are household names, certainly in the UK, but I'm sure you would recognise many of those from a global perspective as well. And these businesses have signed up to the second phase of the court-hold commitment, running from 2010 through to the end of this year, to not only reduce packaging, but also to reduce household food and drink waste, and, most importantly, to start reducing waste within the supply chain. And we've set a target of 5% over 3 years. And the strategic approach which we've developed here is, first of all, to make sure we have the evidence to demonstrate to businesses what they can save, and we have developed, for example, resource maps to do this. We have a programme of key account managers to engage with businesses at a senior level, again to put this evidence to them, to persuade them to take action. Providing guidance through sector guidance notes for the dairy sector, for the bakery sector, and then actually providing hands-on support through reviewing and implementing waste prevention activities. And I'm delighted to be able to say that actually tomorrow we will be launching a new voluntary commitment in London with the hospitality and food service sector, which will start to tackle the substantial amount of waste which is present within that sector. Of the total amount, 41 of waste within the sector, some 41% of that is food, and there's a substantial amount of packaging also being wasted, which is not going for recycling. So the principle of this new agreement will be to work towards zero waste through actively encouraging staff, customers and suppliers to prevent waste arising and reuse and recycle more. So to draw a few conclusions, reducing food waste is a high priority in the UK. Household food waste is the single biggest source of waste in the UK, despite the progress which has already been made. Changing consumer behaviour, changing the retail environment to help certainly does seem to be making good progress, but there is much more still to do. And we have recently started tackling waste in the supply chain, and as of tomorrow we'll be launching a programme to do that within the hospitality and food service sector as well. Thank you.